Good morning, everybody. This is Gideon Blau with the Clean Tech Hub. Today we are here together with Jorge Patiño. He is the founder of Phima. Jorge, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm really great. Thank you. And greetings to all that are here in the program.
Very good. Okay. So Jorge, he is founder of Phima, based out of Medellin, Colombia. And he's participating in one of the programs that we're currently doing with the UK Embassy. It's the UK Embassy, not only the diplomatic post here in Colombia, but in collaboration with all the diplomatic posts that are based in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, even in the Caribbean, Jamaica. So we're very happy to have Jorge here today. And before we dive into what FEMA is about, we first want to know a little bit about Jorge, how he came to the solutions that he's selling currently on the FEMA. Jorge, how has been your journey, let's say, in discovering products that are, let's say, amicable to the climate, and where you consider products that are better for the future of this planet?
Yeah, the beginning of all this journey is about when I was studying in my college in the university. So I always, since I was a child, I was a scientist. I like to play with. We made some mixes. Even I have test tubes when I was 7 years old, and since then I really like chemistry, and also I really like to go outside to the country and visit parents, and so the ecology and the trees and the landscape I like very much. So I combine these kind of things always. I always like to take care of the landscape, and also my mom like to take care of the plants, and also that's the example that I follow. So I combined that, and the first thing that I the most I remember is when I was finishing in my degree, and I write it in a paper that I still conserve that paper, that I was going to work in the future with nanotechnology, and even with a material that is a honeycomb shape as a reinforcement. I wrote it that in 2006, and and later in 2012 I realized, and I know, and I hear about graphene.
Yeah.
So I immediately realized that, I remember that I write down this in a in a paper where I was in the university, and I say I investigate, I read more about graphene,
Yeah.
and immediately I fell in love. So by 2013, I synthesized the first time, and I start to look for good applications and impact applications, and show it to the community here in Colombia.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, a lot of foresight from your side, right? Even in 2006, already thinking about honeycomb structures with that, which resulted
Yeah,
into graphene. So that's
I,
kind of,
I, I don't know. I
yeah.
really didn't know what was graphene even
No,
neither. But I
no.
write down. I have
Yeah.
even I keep that piece of paper.
Okay. So funny.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk a little bit about graphene, because I mean that's the basis of your let's say your materials research that you're doing in FEMA. It's also let's say a very hyped material around the world because of its mechanical properties and everything that people think they can apply. So what was the first time that you discovered, okay, graphene here in Colombia, we can apply it in the following way? What was the first time you had this product?
That was in 2013. 2013, I synthesized it for the first time. And when I, like I tell you, after I fell in love, I started to do the research. And in 2013, with the support of the SENA Tecnoparque here in Colombia, am in Medellin because I'm in Medellin right now, and the most of my life living here in Medellin. I realized that I synthesized it for the first time and I start looking for applications. That kind of application that it can help to decrease the carbon footprint by improve the materials and miniaturize functions and everything.
Yeah. So I mean, 2012 is when you first discovered it. 2013 you were applying it, and that's what already you got involved with Sena. So for everybody that's not familiar with Sena, Sena is a great educational system that we have in Colombia. Most of the time it's even free, so you can just go to their facilities and they have a system. It's called Tecnoparque. So those are like technical. Let's say places where you can laboratories, and they have a lot of fun stuff. I think for you, it's almost like a playground where you can do a lot of investigation. And so it's great how you got the support already back then, 2013, 8 years ago, on discovering this. How was your collaboration? How did you work together with the Sena on this?
I was surprised too because for the first time when I knew Tecnoparque has a nanotechnology laboratory, I say, wow. That was my first impression. And when I see that they have a couple of really nano equipment, so I can work here. And the first thing for you to can make or anyone can make nanotechnology is look at the nano scale. So
Yeah.
that was the experience that I made without them, because they had the equipment, they had the possibility to teach us to work with this equipment. So
Yeah.
that was the interaction, and I get there to Tecnoparque because a friend told me, hey. You speak a lot about nanotechnology, so
Yeah.
you want to go to the Sena and Tecnoparque.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's impressive. So I mean, that's how you got your first bump into this. And so, what was the first product that came out of this research that you did at the Sena on, let's say, studying graphene?
Yeah, because at the moment I start asking around about problems, people, and the needs the people at the moment. So the first that I asked was my brother, and my brother
Hmm.
works with computer maintenance. So I asked him, hey, if you had something about if you had some problems of about overheating and
Yeah.
on electric problems, if I can solve that, what do you need? What was that? And he told me, hey, you can do a product to dissipate the
Yeah.
heat of the computers. So I started immediately to work with our first product, that was the thermal paste. That
Yeah.
this thermal paste with graphene enhance the capacity of the computers to dissipate the heat and do not have the problems of overheating.
Okay, so because I mean, we're not going to make it too technical here, but most of the computers they have a fan inside in order to cool down, let's say, the disk or at least the entire system inside the battery, etc. So they use a little fan, and that's a mechanical part in the computer, and a lot of times it gets dirty or it breaks down. So how does this graphene product that you put inside the computer? I believe it's a graphene paste that you put into the computer. So how does this work?
It's really simple because the CPU, the computer chip, that's the device that overheats.
Yeah,
So the fan is over the chip and dissipates the heat. Yeah, and
yeah,
get over it. Graphene is in the middle. Graphene is
yeah,
in the middle, so the heat that produce the chip
yeah,
goes away more quicker, more
yeah.
faster
Wow.
than with other products and than the normal. So when the heat goes out more faster, the chip keeps cool.
Yeah. So how
That's
does
the
this,
magic.
yeah, how does this affect performance of the computer? Because if the
Ah,
chip is at a lower temperature, how is the performance?
the first one, and we're talking about clean tech, and that's the magic and the most important property that I most like is that the we have you have not to waste more energy over with this fan functioning, because if the heat is flowing away faster, then the fan has have not to work a lot, and you
Yeah,
save energy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it works on computers. I believe it works also on big servers or on data room equipment. It doesn't really matter
Oh,
what kind of IT equipment. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah, and say about and think about this application that is more impact. Imagine that a building that had 5,000 person with a computer working. That's the
Yeah.
example in a data center or a call center. There
Yes.
are a lot of people working that there. So if each one of these computers saves at least 10% of the energy, uh, you can say that business or that call center even can save here in Colombia, save like about 17 million co 17 million pesos in a year. That's like about 30,000
Yeah,
dollars a year.
$15,000. Yeah. So you say
15,000 a year.
$15,000
A
if you
year.
a year if you have a computer if you have an office full of computers.
Oh yeah, all the computers with if you do this the maintenance with the our thermal paste that
Yeah.
is with graphene, you can save all that money in 1 year.
Wow. And that's not counting with replacing fans inside the computers and all the
No,
other maintenance costs. So you
no,
actually are going to save more. This is just saving the energy savings. Yeah.
yes, and
Oh
we
wow.
already prove it, and we already done some tested with university, because universities have a lot of computers.
Yeah. Wow, this is awesome stuff. Yeah, I love it. And where are your clients currently based, Jorge? You're based out of Medellin here in Colombia. So where are your clients currently?
What are you?
So who's your customer?
Our customers,
Yeah,
our main customers are the people that do electronic maintenance
yeah,
to the computers, and we are searching because this that I tell you about the universities. We are looking for the correct business model to get to all the, for example, call centers that I mentioned later.
yeah, yeah,
And we also have clients, for example, manufacturers business that can use the graphene
yeah,
to search for each of these applications.
yeah,
For example, material reinforcement, and of course you can get some similar
yeah,
properties,
yeah,
and
yeah,
also about the paint.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're just talking about one of these mechanical properties of graphene, which is its ability to dissipate heat quickly. We haven't even talked about all the other mechanical properties that graphene has. So I know you're working on a couple of other products as well, where graphene is also the base. So perhaps you can give us another example of one of the products that you guys make.
Yeah. Uh, one of the most, like I say, they have the most success on the people more talk about is about a paint, a natural paint
Hmm.
that decontaminates the air. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
It calls green one. We
Okay.
also develop here all of our development, and so this paint is different from all types of paint because it have no chemicals that are harmful for our health
Yeah.
and do not have plastic.
Yeah.
That's the main thing here for this paint because we use graphene to
Hmm.
reinforce natural products and make it and convert it in a product that we can manage and apply and it can stay in the walls,
Yeah.
this natural product, by the using graphene. The
Yeah.
graphene enhance that property, and also
Mm.
the graphene works like a catalyst
Yeah.
for a reaction that we put in this paint, and the reaction is that they contaminate the air because reacts with CO2.
Yeah.
You know that gas, carbon gases,
Yeah.
are harmful for the environment because
Yeah.
we produce a lot. We humans produce a lot of that's carbon gases. So this paint, if you paint your house or your building, it works like a tree. A tree, it can
Mm.
absorb CO2. This paint also can do some quite similar
Oh,
thing.
this is interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this is quite interesting. So, how do you see the application? Are people using it in their houses, or is it, for example, if you go to a mechanic shop where a car mechanic applies it on the walls of his garage, so all the CO2 emissions of the cars, the walls absorb it, or what applications do you see there?
You everyone can use it like
Yeah.
the use is the same of our regular paint
Yeah.
for
Okay.
even my house is painted in the interior with,
Yeah.
the, with this paint. And another example of how useful and benefits you can get from is for example my wife when he
Yeah.
was pregnant, she herself paint the room for our baby,
Yeah.
and even and after when we continue painting on another side
Yeah.
uh, with our boy with our child at the
Yeah.
side with a baby, he can stay the side of she because it doesn't have
Har-
harmful
har- Yeah. 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 Yeah.
chemicals.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So let's say the chemical process is you say that basically because the paint contains graphene and let's say the CO2
And others.
molecules they bind to the graphene inside the paint. So it's like a carbon sink. It captures the CO2
Yeah,
out of the air. That's what you're saying.
the graphene is just a catalyst.
Yeah. Okay.
It works like a catalyst. It's
Yeah.
not the main factor or the main
Uh-huh.
system
So it speeds
to
up the
capture
process of getting
CO2.
CO2
But
out of the
yes,
air.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
speed up the process. The graphene
Yeah.
make that because um, the way we design this paint, green one
Yeah.
paint,
Mhm.
we mimic the nature. We
Yeah.
think about what the leaves have,
Yeah.
how the nature decontaminate the air. So
Yeah.
We it's not exactly the same thing, but we try to do something
Yeah.
similar.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Yes. And you have how do you test this? How do you how can you show that this is the effect, that this is happening with the paint? Did you do tests inside homes, or how did you do this?
Yeah, the first one was in our laboratory.
Yeah.
We paint some plates,
Yeah.
and we do this really nice thing because we haven't not too much budget to do this, so we paint it, and we mark it with the date and the hour.
Yeah.
So we paint it and we leave it there, and we collect a serial of plates with the date, and we start to take samples with
Hmm.
in the time. So I take a sample 1 hour after we paint, and the one day after we paint, and later we collect another sample 10 days after the paint, and 1 month later, and 3 months later, and 6 months later, and every sample we measure the carbon content
Okay.
with with every sample. And in the day one, we have we take it like the blank. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the 0 day. And the 0 day we measure the carbon content, and the day after we realized that there was more carbon in the paint,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the 1 month later we realized, we analyzed in a laboratory, in an external laboratory in the
Yeah.
University of Antioquia.
Yeah. Yeah.
They tell us, yeah, this sample have a certain percent of carbon,
Yeah.
and after we put it in a chart,
Mhm.
and we do a plot with
Yeah.
this data. We realize that 15 liters, and that 23 liters, that is we call it here cuñete, or
Yeah.
a can,
Yeah.
a
I
can,
can.
that with a can you can paint 150
Meters.
square meters.
Yeah.
That is a wall, a large wall,
Yeah.
like the front of your house,
Yeah.
and that wall can decontaminate the air, and absorbs uh, 1200 grams of CO2.
Okay, so 12 kilos of CO2 is taken
12
out of the
kilos.
air by just painting a wall of 150 meters
Yes.
square. And this process keeps on going. I mean, there has to be a moment that, let's say,
No,
the wall is saturated,
no,
right?
in 1 year we measured that,
Yeah.
like I tell you, and the top,
Yeah.
the peak,
Yeah.
the most carbon content that we
Yeah.
find, it can keep in a percent, because we
Yeah.
need in a percentile
Yeah.
measure, because we take a small a small sample,
Yeah.
and we scale it. If you
Yeah.
paint, if this small sample can take
Mhm.
this percent of carbon, so
Yeah.
a whole wall
Yeah.
can
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
decontaminate
Definitely.
the
Yeah.
12 kilos, 12
Yeah.
kilos of CO2. And imagine if every house here in Medellin
Yeah.
paints just the exteriors,
Yeah.
or the and use these 23 liters, we can decontaminate the air and clean the air from Medellin in
Yeah.
about 1 million kilos of CO2 in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Well, that's impressive. Very interesting. I love what you guys are doing there. So, I mean, you guys are selling this product already in the market. The same with the graphene paste in the computers. Also, very interesting application for graphene. So where do you want to take this? Are you planning to expand in the region and sell it not only in Colombia but also the rest of Latin America? What are your plans there?
Our plan is take it to Europe.
Okay.
The first, because they are really taking care of the air and cleaning
Mhm.
the air, decarbonizing the air.
Yeah.
So because they have the politics about this
Yeah.
and they are really strong, we are really interested to get it to the United Kingdom
Yeah.
and searching a partner there to to duplicate and replicate our business model,
Yeah.
the way we manufacture this paint and the way we show it to the people and replicate our business model there in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And because the politics are really strong, and when we in the exact time when we show this product, they are say, okay, I buy it because we already set some units here in Colombia, but not enough
No.
to grow to
Yeah.
the way we want.
Yeah. Yeah. So your plan is going into Europe because they have a clear focus on let's say taking climate action. There's of course a lot happening. There's a lot of funding there. So you're also planning, let's say, to continue doing the investigation around different graphene applications over there.
Yeah. I keep
Yeah.
even I have a lot more of ideas
Yeah. Yeah.
concerning that,
Yeah.
and one of them the most like about is about energy. I
Yeah.
like a lot on energy, and also keeping with this with replacing plastics.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the most
Yeah.
things and products that we are thinking about
Yeah.
to
Exciting.
develop with
Exciting.
graphene. Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. So, what's because I mean, you guys are tinkering a lot around graphene applications. So, what other products are you currently working on that is graphene based? What you think has a lot of future?
Yes. Uh, for example, in heating in heat control and especially in computers,
Yeah.
we are working in not just in the interface or in the
Mhm.
middle of this the CPU and the fan,
Yeah.
but we are thinking about even in replacing the fan and in the way
Taking
you
out the fan completely and
taking
replacing it with
up,
the graphene
yeah,
based. Ah, okay.
and
Wow.
and cool down without using the fan
Wow. Wow. That's a huge
and
cost
without
saving.
using energy,
Yeah.
not using energy.
Wow.
We are
Yeah.
recycling the energy in the computers.
Okay, well, that's a very interesting solution. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
then that could drastically reduce, let's say, energy cost of having a computer. I mean, I think it's a big part of the energy usage of any computer. Let's say the whole fan system, the cooling system, the cooling part. So that could be very exciting. And of course, I assume, I mean, this. This mechanical property of dissipating heat. I mean, there's a lot of different applications for that. There's a lot of cooling and heating systems that we have in and around the house, right?
yeah,
We have fridges, we have air cons, and all of them have a need to deal with dissipating heat, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
And because a building and especially in this in Europe or in the
yeah,
States, uh, the the 60% of the energy a building uses
yeah,
is about heat control.
yeah, yeah. Climate
So
control.
it's one
Yeah,
of the yeah, and that's the most energy
yeah,
that an energy waste.
yeah,
You can put there also the heat control of our computers
yeah,
and every others equipment. So
yeah,
that's a really interesting point, and also besides other applications, we are looking for replacing more
Yeah.
synthetic rubbers, and replacing with natural rubbers
Okay.
because natural rubber we can enhance their properties
Yeah.
with graphene and other nano materials, because we work also with other nano materials,
Yeah.
and you can replace synthetic rubbers with natural rubber, and we are also impacting the ecosystem, because we are stopping to use
So,
more.
okay. So you're basically saying that, let's say, the natural rubbers, you can enhance its performance, especially with regards to the, let's say, the heating and cooling properties, because sometimes it compacts or extracts and then it starts breaking down the rubbers. And also with applying, let's say, graphene, you could perform or increase the performance of these natural rubbers. That's what you're
Yes,
saying. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even we I have already done some kind of that application
Yeah.
in a big factory here in Colombia, in Bogota.
Yeah.
We replace a synthetic rubber with natural rubber,
Yeah.
and enhancing their properties.
Yeah.
And so they are stop using that synthetic rubber. So
Yeah.
and even I tell them, use this Colombian rubber, natural
Yeah.
rubber planted
Yeah.
here in Colombia, and
Yeah.
they are still using it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very exciting. I mean, just think of a fridge inside your home, which has big rubbers on around it, and there's cooling and heating going on all day. So that could be, and of course, car tires where there's a lot of heat
That
being generated. So yeah.
Yeah, because they are not going to degrade. Um,
Mhm.
they can last longer. That
Yes.
product can last longer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very exciting, very exciting. No, love it. Jorge, we're already at the end of our little chat. Awesome to hear about all these applications, all those products that you guys are coming out with. I think it's pretty exciting. And what to me is most exciting, this is happening now in Medellin, Colombia, right? And a lot of people think that for these great ideas around, let's say, graphene and material science, it's not happening here in Colombia, right? And you're doing it. You've been doing it together with government. I mean, Sena and Technopark is, of course, government funded. So it gives people, I think, a completely different perspective on where Colombia is standing, where you are standing as a business. I think that's very exciting. So I love to see this. So Jorge, I really wanted to thank you for being here today with us. Thank you.
Thank you, all of the audience, and especially the Clean Tech Hub, and this program for the support, for this opportunity to learn a lot about internationalization, and especially for introduces this all business around the clean tech. Thank you.
No, very good. Love it. Jorge, again, thank you. I want to thank everybody here in the audience for joining us today. You can check us out on our socials. We will be here again tomorrow with another episode. And we will even have episodes next week. Then, of course, we're going to take a little break for Christmas. And then we're back in the new year. But see you again tomorrow, same place, same time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye, Gideon. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.